Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, November 2nd, 2017. I'll read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice, not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you've had a great week so far. It's a big news Thursday again with the Bank of England raising interest rates over there for the first time in 10 years. Although they only raised slightly, the market will be digesting that throughout the day, I'm sure. Also, keep in mind that Donald Trump is probably going to announce his next Fed governor at some point today or tomorrow. Also, lots of earnings coming in, so it's anyone's guess as to which way this market wants to go. But let me get into our video for today. Regular viewers know that I always start off with a look at the Russell Index. And for that, I use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I step back to take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. So we've been keeping an eye. We've got long-term support resistance marked by the light blue line here, medium by the orange line here, and more short-term support we're corralling with this black line here and my purple line down here. So for now, we're going to kind of ignore this area and we're going to pay attention to where we are right here, right now, which is this area here. So we want to note that the candle for the month of September was bullish, pulling us up and over our black diagonal line, only slightly. And then October was a little bit undecided with a small candle, a tiny bit of bullishness to it, but for the most part, very small undecided candle. And now here we are for the month of November, a little bit red, so we want to pay attention to what happens in this area for sure. Going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly so we can better see how price is behaving. Same lines, long-term support, medium, and then more short-term. I was using this as my guide earlier in the year, but for now I'm going to just pay attention to this little mini wedge. So we've got this bigger wedge marked by the black line and the orange, but we're paying attention to this tiny little mini wedge happening right here. So we're looking at the weekly chart. I'm going to zoom it in again so that we can take a look at the 6-month daily. Yesterday was interesting because we started off in the green and price came in all day. So it had a hard time keeping that bullish orientation, but it landed right on our trend line. So we'll see what today brings, but as we said in our Tuesday video, we're coming into that decision point area, the apex of our wedge, where it's going to have to go one way or the other. So you know that I use this blue line as my guide. This is the 8-day EMA. When price on the Russell is below the 8-day, I'm not adding new names to my watch list. However, I will go over 2 or 3 charts that I think look interesting in this area, should we start to get pickup in the markets and a more positive looking price bullishness coming in here. And so the first chart that I wanted to review with you is Facebook, which was a Chart of the Day Cafe featured chart here in June of this year. We flagged it here for our viewers. Flagged it again here when it sold off, had some lift. They announced earnings last night. Looks like earnings were pretty positive. We'll see if it can continue higher. Check the scores on it this morning. Facebook still has the scores I look for. Second one I wanted to flag for you is Royal Dutch Shell, which we flagged for viewers. It was our Chart of the Day Cafe pick in this area here back in July of this year. Highlighted it again in this area not too long ago, and it's up and over the blue. It looks like it's up slightly in pre-market. I still like this chart, and it still has the scores I look for. And finally, the one that we've been talking about lately, ABBV. I wanted to see it up and over the orange line. As a reminder, we put ABBV forward as our Chart of the Day Cafe pick back here. in this area back in April. It's had a beautiful run since then. It's up and over this area of support, this orange line, support resistance. So it's now support because price is over that line. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. So we're looking at the 3-month. It came in, announced earnings, sold off initially, but then price rallied and it looks as though it may want to move higher from here. So it was encouraging to see a somewhat bullish day yesterday. I want to see more lift, but ABBV would be one of my favorite looking charts here today. And check the scores on it this morning, still beautiful, with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 15%, a current dividend yield of 2.77, and a PE of 14.74. So wanted to highlight those 3 for you. With that, I'll leave you. Thanks for watching, and I'll put my next video out on Tuesday.